Welcome back. Here in Vernon, Florida, it's a momentous day for Washington County, certainly for Vernon. It's the dedication, the commemoration, if you will, of the brand new bridge across Holmes Creek. Here now with Ian Satter from the Department of Transportation. Ian, were you here 2.5 years ago when they had the celebration with the tearing down of the old bridge?
Actually, I was not. I've been with the Department of Transportation back again for about a little over a year. I worked in Tallahassee for 3 years, took some time in Arizona, but I've been back here in this area. But today was a great event.
How are you enjoying being in this market, working out of the Chipley office?
I think it's fantastic. I think the people here are very warm, very receptive. We've got a great staff in Chipley. We cover 16 counties all the way from Jefferson to Escambia. We've got a lot of ground to cover, but the staff we have is top-notch, and I wouldn't trade them for anybody else in the state.
Historically, obviously for many years, the Department of Transportation providing a living, jobs for many people in this area, sometimes for 2 and 3 generations now. But we lose sight of the fact of what a large area that you locally actually do govern. From what areas now do you mention again that geographical area?
We cover everywhere from Escambia to Jefferson County. That's 16 counties right here. We basically cover the Panhandle, all of Northwest Florida. So we've got a lot of people, a lot of transportation needs that we try to meet, and we work at that at a daily basis to make sure that we're ensuring that we've got the safest, most efficient transportation system in the country.
Florida is a long state. Most people envision California as being the longest state, actually only a little bit over 800 miles. Florida almost 1,100 from Key West to Pensacola. And DOT, the Department of Transportation, taking care of all of those highways and byways. What's the best thing, what's the thing that you like best out of working for DOT in general?
I think it's the opportunity to go out and meet the people that live in the community. We go out there all the time and we let them know about our projects, what we're doing. It's real exciting to go out there and bring these projects to people and answer the questions that they may have, but it's the interactions that we have with the public. Without them, our projects wouldn't be successful.
So what's the biggest challenge? What's the worst thing, if you don't mind talking about that?
I think the biggest challenge that we have is we always have transportation needs, and there's always projects that we have that we'd like to do, but we have to watch our funds very carefully and make sure that we're spreading them out as best as we can. There's probably a lot of projects on the books that we'd love to tackle that we just don't have the funding to do, but we look to find those funds all the time. So that's probably the only part that's a little frustrating is, if we could, we'd have a lot more projects going on so we could improve transportation here in Northwest Florida. And
it's not the DOT, it's certainly not you that are making those determinations. Obviously, the Florida legislature making in large part those decisions. We got some good news recently, the way I understand it, that this continuation of the 4-lane here on 79 has been funded. Is that correct? Right. We're going to be finishing the 4-laning of 79 from US 98 in Bay County all the way to I-10. It's going to extend into Holmes County. We've got over $300 million invested in that total project along that area, including the bridge that we celebrated today. We've got a lot of projects coming up in this area. We're going to be looking at 4-laning 77 as well. Those plans are on the books, and we're looking to acquire funding to do that. So a lot of positive transportation changes will be happening here in Washington County, and we just people just have to take a look and let them know that we'll be building these projects in the future, and we'll be out there and just keep an eye out for us when we're working. The bridge is obviously presenting one of the bigger challenges in being able to expand those throughways. It's a little bit easier to acquire property and widen a road when you've got lots of timberland to deal with, but when you start dealing with an existing bridge, not only do you have to build the new bridge, but you've got to deal with the traffic that's existing already. Lots of logistical problems when you do this kind of a project. How many years typically, those that people don't see before you actually get to the point where it's shovel ready? Well, it depends on the project. This project here started back in July of 2009, and we completed in January of 2013. So it was a very extensive project. You have a lot of things that go into it. You have design, you have environmental studies, the actual construction itself, the clearing of the old bridges and materials. So a lot goes into the job. So from start to finish, from planning, design, studies, construction, it just depends on the structure. We have a structure we're going to build in Pensacola, the 3-mile bridge out there. We're scheduled to do that in 1,600 days. So that's almost a 4-year project that we're going to be working on. And that one's very sensitive. Obviously, several of our larger storms that have come through, even some of the unnamed storms, have impacted that bridge. We've got family in Mobile, a daughter, a son, and some grandkids, and obviously that's if you're on the other side of a bridge that's impacted, obviously that's the most important bridge in your life at that moment.
Well, we have a lot of bridge structures here, and we have to make sure that make sure that their integrity is sound. We have obviously, Florida, we do get hit with hurricanes, and we want to make sure that our bridges, like the one we have here in town, they're a key evacuation route from people on the coast. So by 4-laning 79, 77, we provide a safe evacuation route, and new bridges and new structures that we replace or enhance only help with those times when we do have to evacuate those areas. But a structure like this as well, we have new pedestrian features, we have new bicycle features. So, not only for our driving public, but for our pedestrians and bicyclists, they have a safer structure to use as well.
Having lived on the beach in Panama City Beach for over 30 years myself, very sensitive to the evacuation situation. The converse side, the other side of that coin, is the positive side of being able to bring those multitudes of people to the world's most beautiful beaches, and this allows you to do exactly that. As you point out, from I-10 all the way to Front Beach Road in Panama City Beach, a huge economic boon to the beach, but absolutely to every single small town in between. This, what we commemorate here today, kind of bittersweet. Nobody likes to see some of the old stuff go away, but the economic opportunities that just this road opens up is truly phenomenal, and I think they're just starting to wrap their head around that.
Right. Well, we always look at, especially in this community, they're very proud of their heritage, very proud of their roots, and we respect that, and we want to make sure that we can help maintain that. But the economic benefits of structures like this and the final 4-laning of 79 will be a great benefit not only to the communities to and from 98 to I-10, but Vernon itself, we have a structure in place. We will have a road in place. When you have something like that, when you do 4-lane, businesses are more likely to look at that area as a way to relocate. You're going to be having tourists coming through your town, coming through there. Plus, you have to look at the advantages as well with 77 and 79 coming down to the Panama City area, where we have a port, we have an airport, we have a rail system. And by providing an easier path for vehicles and trucks, for example, to get from I-10 down there, that means goods and services coming out of the port. That means hopefully more jobs, more goods coming that way. And then if they're transported from the port, we get more goods coming in. That reduces the costs of those goods, and that can be good for Florida families to reduce their cost of living.
Well, Ian, thanks for visiting with us today. Thanks for being such a good spokesperson on behalf of Department of Transportation. You've got big shoes to fill. Tommy Spates for many, many years. Started out with television, went to work for the Department of Transportation. People who know Tommy long-term, real nice guy, has always been accessible to the media, and we appreciate that. But the best of luck to you in this not-so-new job, but again, it's good to have you in the community, and you're professing what you have about the enjoyment of living in this area and representing what we have here. That's good stuff for us. It bodes well for our future.
Well, I thank you very much for the compliment. Again, Tommy Spates, again, big shoes to fill. He's well known around the area, and I'm finding that as I go out, sometimes people will say hi to me as well that I've met at meetings or they see me on television. But really, the job is about making sure that the people out there get informed and they've got the best information that we can give them, and that's what our office strives to do every day. So, we're always open for phone calls. If you need to get a hold of us, call our office. We'll answer any questions you've got about any projects, and if we don't have the answer, we'll find it for you.
You're in a situation somewhat sensitive. You're either the good guy or the bad guy, depending on what's going on. Opportunities like this to let people know exactly what opportunities you have to really make decisions certainly has to help that with the transparency and people knowing that it's not you that are deciding which project's going to be funded. You simply accomplish those projects to the best of your ability when that happens. Right.
What we put together is called a 5-year work program, and we do a 5-year projection, and we submit those projects to the legislature. It's at their discretion then at that point to decide which projects get funded, which don't. And obviously we take the concerns of the community into that. We hold public meetings on projects when we do get approval, or if we're looking to advance projects, we get their ideas, their input. It really starts with the public. It really starts with the people and the citizens of Florida. That's where we start. That's where we know we've got to start our process, and then from there we can find the projects that we think will best fit the needs of the community, and then from there it's sent to the legislature for their final approval.
Well, thank you for being part of the community. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us today.
Absolutely. Look forward to talking to you again.
Here in Vernon, Florida, definitely a momentous day. The commemoration, the dedication of the brand new 4-lane bridge. As Ian just pointed out, we've just received funding to complete from I-10 all the way to Panama City Beach, the ongoing 4-lane project on Highway 79. Huge evacuation issues, tourists to be able to get to the world's most beautiful beaches, and in between all of these people in small towns just like Vernon who can take advantage of that, who can make hay while the sun shines, take advantage of these economic opportunities. You're watching Real Florida Magazine, and we'll be right back.